If your child is doing echolalia and you are concerned how to turn the echolalia into functional communication, here we have top 5 strategies for you. Hi, this is Mariam, special language pathologist. As we discussed in our last video that why children do echolalia, and I promise you to provide some home-based strategies to turn your child's echolalia into their functional language. So the top strategy or the number one strategy which I implement almost on all children who do echolalia is to stop asking them irrelevant questions. So basically what happens is when we ask children some irrelevant questions or the question that we know they are unable to respond to, as they haven't developed semantics and pragmatics like meaning and use of the language, so they tend to repeat it back as it is. As you may know that immediate echolalia is more likely to turn into delayed echolalia, which is the second stage of language development where child tend to repeat those learned phrases or tend to repeat phrases an hour later, day later, or maybe a week later, or even months later. When we ask too much questions from the children, your question statement may get stored in their language memory or in their language repertoire. So what they do is they begin to associate your question statement for their functional communication. For example, a month ago, you said to your child, do you want cookie? So here in the second stage of development, what they will do is they will recall that statement, do you want cookie? And will associate it to the act of getting cookie. So whenever if your child needs something, for example, if he needs cookie, so what will he do is he will use your question statement for their communication, which is not an ideal way and it can be avoided by strategy 2. So here we have our second strategy, which is modeling phrases. As I said, you have to stop asking questions and the second strategy will help you in doing this. Now you must be thinking, okay, if I have to stop asking questions, how can I prompt my child's language development? To prompt your child's language development or making your child's language more functional, you can use the phrases or you can model phrases with your child. Instead asking, do you want cookie? You can use a simple phrase or you can model a phrase saying cookie time, holding a plate of cookie or like giving them a cookie, and or you can say time to eat cookie, or you can touch your belly and say I'm hungry before providing them a cookie. So when you will use these positive phrases or when you will use these functional phrases, your child is more likely to store these phrases in the language memory, and when in later stages they have to turn their language memory into functional communication, they will repeat your exact phrase that you said for their communication, which is like an ideal way of communication rather than quoting your questions. But there is a key point here. Use the phrases or try to incorporate phrases that you think or that you have observed your child to repeat easily or based on your child's interest. So when you're incorporating your child's interest based strategy, it will be more fun for them to repeat or more fun for them to learn or more fun for them to use in the later stages of development. Now, the third strategy on the list is to be consistent. Now, what I mean by be consistent is associate a phrase with a context, like with a scenario, and use that exact same phrase or with little variations if you have to make. Use like similar or kind of same phrases over and over again to refer to that particular scenario. So when we are using consistent phrases or when we are using like when we are associating phrases consistently with a particular context, your child is more likely to adopt that phrase or more likely to relate that consistent phrase with the context as compared to the wedding one. For example, if you're coming back to the example of cookie, if you're providing them a cookie and saying cookie time, it's better, or you can say it's recommended to use cookie time again and again, again and again for your child to associate it with the act of getting cookie. If you will keep on changing cookie time, time to eat cookie, let's eat, I am hungry, so it there will be like too much phrases for that one context, which can make your child confused in the early stages of development to associate like which phrase do I have to associate with the context. But once your child begin to associate a phrase for the one particular context, then you can put variations in that. But in the early stages, you have to be consistent with your phrases. You have to be consistent with your language structures. And here we have the fourth strategy, which means providing your child quiet time. Quiet time is like the game changer strategy. So there is a myth associated with speech and language therapy that speech and language therapy is always about talk, 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 and talk. No, speech therapy is about talk, quiet, talk, quiet. So basically, when we are talking to children or when we are talking to a particular child, we are providing a stimuli, we are providing prompts. So when we are always talking, keep on talking, basically we are not providing them any opportunity or we are not letting them to speak. So basically what happens in language development is child tends to respond a few seconds later. It can be 5 seconds, it can be 10 seconds, it can be 15 seconds, it can be 20 seconds, or it can be up to 1 minute. So when we are working with the child, we have to make sure we are providing them their time to process and respond. For example, you said to your child, cookie time, and your child didn't respond to you. So you will not keep on repeating cookie time, cookie time, cookie time, cookie time. No, we have to said it. You said it once, cookie time. Your child is hearing, your child is processing. Let your child process. Wait for at least 15 to 20 seconds, or I recommend even 30 seconds. Provide the stimulus again after 30 seconds, cookie time. So try to avoid overstimulating your child. Try to avoid providing too much stimuli at a time. Just provide it for once or twice and then wait for the time. Give them time to process. And when you are being with your child, you're working on the language, you just have to say the statement once and then stop. Wait for your child to respond, wait for your child to process. Then a minute later you can provide that same phrase over again. Then again wait for a minute, then provide, then wait for a minute. Provide your child their processing time or their due time to process information. If we will keep on bombarding them with the statements, what will happen is they will show irritability. So when we provide them quiet time or when we provide them processing time, it not only calms down their brain, but it also let them to process information. Since they are getting processing time, so they are more likely to associate your phrase with the scenario you are in. And number fifth strategy is lead based communication. Like all of us, we all have moods. Sometimes we are likely to work, and the other time we are just likely to sit idle, sit like work free. Same is happen with the children. So when you are working with your child, you have to make sure the child is active enough to communicate or to engage in any language based activities. So what you can do is you can incorporate your language structures or your phrases into your child's games. So if your child wants to jump, what you can do is you can jump with your child. You can incorporate language structures in that, saying hooray, it's fun, or time to have fun, or let's jump, 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 jumping time. Like you can incorporate any of these phrase or any of the phrase that you want your child to say in that particular scenario. Let your child do whatever he or she wants to do. Let your child say whatever he or she wants to say, and slowly incorporate your phrase, step by step incorporate your preferred phrase, or you can say a more functional phrase into your into your child's language structures. These are my top 5 strategies, but keep in mind these are not the interventions. My top first recommendation is to go for your child's personalized interventions. These are some home-based strategy, or you can say like the topping, which you can incorporate into your child's therapy to help your child to develop language in more fun way. I hope I made the concept clear, but if still there is any question to ask, any point to clear out, you can drop it down in the comment section. If this video is valuable enough or knowledgeable, or you can say helpful for the parents who are struggling with their child's speech and language development, you can share it with them. You can let me know if you have any concern regarding your child's speech and language development which you think I haven't covered in this video. You can drop it down there.